What's up, YouTube family? Here coming live from AGS. We're about to play a game of UFS right here for y'all. We're going to have some live commentary from our two players.
But they
My name is JHP.
Oh, I'm Chris Bromley.
There you go.
I am Ryan Hoffman.
I am Parcy Ortega.
And let's get right into the show.
Well, I don't have it set up because I'm bad.
Fucking got him!
Let us harvest this yeast.
In the moment, I would just like to say the Spinosaurus that appeared in the film Jurassic Park 3 is no longer considered scientifically accurate. It is now... Alright, I don't have to bring about that. We're starting up the game.
Alright, so Parcy, you're playing
Yep.
Sophitia, right?
Yeah, I'm playing Sophitia.
And Ryan, you're playing
Nightmare.
I'm the one wearing the Disney shirt because it's lit.
I'm actually super happy that Ryan is playing Nightmare because I was worried for a while. That
So this is
Nightmare
the part
wasn't
we
gonna win.
actually tied three times.
Yeah, we tied 3 times.
Hell yeah.
That's just. No, I think we only tied twice, didn't we?
It was a 6 and a 7. Okay, yeah.
and then you rolled a 20.
And
Belly.
Nat 20 on a D6.
Oh man, I didn't get the life counter on the screen. Things to check for next time.
It's okay, it's off-brand because the life counters for magic.
So Ryan got a nice snipe there.
I can't do that.
Also remember, we might want to be cautious about the audio on the laptop.
I wasn't even looking at you, I'll be perfectly frank.
Here, just
I was,
setting up some
at this point, I think I
foundations.
was still looking at my hand trying to figure out whether or not I should remove it.
He's getting some basic stuff down here.
What mindset were you in when you guys were playing? Like, if you want to talk about like what you want to think the
Going-
deck is supposed to do.
Going into the Sophitia match, there really isn't a whole lot for my deck to do particularly. I don't have any of the tech cards that I could be using to stop Sophitia from committing out my entire staging area. So what I was really aiming for more than anything else was what cards can I see that I know he has to block fully, and then just testing whether or not he has the block zones to block everything fully.
Alright, good shit. What does Nightmare do? I know he's got a doubles thing, but I don't like what is.
Nightmare's whole
What is his
gimmick
thing?
is that his attack lineup intentionally is supposed to be the speed of his attack is half of the damage. Printed. He gives every one of those attacks plus 2 damage. When one of those attacks is blocked, he can respond and pick it back up from the card pool. And every time you block one of his attacks with his Enhance, you have to mill the top 3 cards of your deck, and your opponent loses 1 vitality for each attack card that's milled this way.
Yeah, so Ryan built it off of throws because
Oof.
just more damage.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's about half throws. I've only got the 3 proxied copies of Ivy's throw attack, and then the 2 demon grabs. How I kept seeing them.
2 demon grabs?
I only had 2 demon grabs. So
man.
how I kept seeing them consistently against you, I
Yeah,
have no clue.
I feel like I was like, he must be running like 4 of this card.
Nope.
Why would you run 4 of this card?
I run no 4 of attacks in the Nightmare deck.
Jeez.
Everything is 3 of, except for the demon grab and the brutality, which is the 1 of.
Why?
Why the 1 brutality?
Yeah.
Just on the off chance I drop my opponent that low through the burn.
I mean, it's a spicy thing.
And on top of that, I'm using the Scorpion 1/5 foundation that lets you cut 1 for the -1 speed, so it can feasibly still block with the Breaker 3 from brutality.
Right. Breaker 3 is always relevant. Unless they have fatality.
Yeah.
Alright, Parcy, what were you thinking of in your deck? Because I know you're running Sophitia.
Yeah, I'm running Sophitia off order right now, and I didn't know what Nightmare does. I did know he had a mill and burn gimmick, so it was either I'm gonna eat a crap ton of damage and try to kill him while outliving the burn, or I'm gonna get to the point where he can just string an attack line of like 2 or 3 and pick it back up and just dumpster me. So I needed to hurry up and build as early as I could, get as much foundations down, and then just hope I see the deep freeze into frost hammers, honestly. And in this game here, I think I play it this turn.
Dude, spoilers. My favorite thing about your deck is that it's just the Donovan list that we made
Yeah,
with
it's
Sophitia on top. Right?
Well, I mean,
Just
I
before
just
the
can't
proxies.
help but want to
Isn't it
block
essentially?
That was my favorite
Isn't that
place for
essentially what
Sophitia
all the
to be
order
using.
decks are now? Is
Yeah,
just
the original idea.
the Frost Hammer setup. And
Parcy built it with the idea of having like 7 characters sideboard.
Yeah.
Right? You just,
Yeah.
It
the
worked
order-
for a
the
while.
order
I'm
toolbox.
Stone Man
Yeah.
now.
I'm losing. I must switch.
You fucking asshole, I'm learning how to play the game, and I'm like, I'm gonna go all in. He's like, hold on, let me put this stone man right there on the top of the board.
I think that.
Fuck
What's that?
you.
Damn, that's.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, there's like a bug flying.
Oh, you just blocked it.
Yeah.
That was the demon round.
yeah.
thought I missed
So-
the
That's
Yagi
the
did.
demon round.
So in this specific deck, I love blocking, and Sophitia is just like, hey, I'm gonna reward you for blocking.
I like this. I like this interaction. Right.
It also
so Demon Realm responds on the block, right? So you respond first, then you mill,
Yes.
yeah.
and then Sophitia can respond, and then you respond with Soul Edge. It's just like
yeah.
30 things happening before the
It's
attack
such a
is
long
off.
response window if you think about it. Yeah.
This did make me realize certain things about my deck that I might have to revise in the future. Picking back up the throws and then not attempting to play them a second time, like gripping them for the future, was actually gimping the fact that I could not generate the momentum I needed for Dark Reconquista.
Right.
And then on top of that, the realization that Soul Edge actually says non-throw
Oh.
gave me a great big sad. So I was,
Yeah, that is a big deal.
yeah, the
yeah.
minute I played the first of the Ivy throws against Parcy, I played it and I was like, now I can R with so. Oh no!
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
no.
the fact that you're running 3 of the 2-check,
Yeah.
you're going to someone's going to block that. Right?
Yeah, they kind of have to.
They're going to
It's-
block the 18 damage
Yeah,
attack.
it's not optional.
Yeah.
The reason I sealed Outward Earth there is because I'm just afraid he's gonna pop one of my stuffs back and it's gonna give me less fuel. And I have a lot of foundations that are quote unquote vanilla for this deck, but I do like.
What was in your hand?
What is
Did
in
you
my hand?
did you have another Demon Realm or? No, you must not have.
No,
Okay.
No. I actually only run 2 in this deck because I only have 2. So, well, you only have 2.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But,
I have more. I can get you some.
But yeah, I don't necessarily need less foundations because I'm trying to build so I can go in one turn and just try to smack you as hard as I can.
There's one thing I could just amend to that. You wouldn't need less foundations. You'd need fewer.
John, you're banned.
That's fair.
From UFS for a year, dude. Canon.
Toxic behavior. We're banning
Absolutely
you.
canon.
Jeez Louise.
So what is? I'm sorry. I have a bad view of our screen. I can barely make it.
I think
out.
Ryan just dropped.
Yeah,
It's the rerun of the Ivy attack.
Oh yeah.
After you blocked with the
yeah, and then
the awakening, somebody picked it up for a second so that they could check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You attempted to
Yep.
to play another attack and
All right. So that went to your momentum. This is me drawing. So I have a nice amount of foundations, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable to go in here.
I mean, you drew Deep Freeze and 2 Frost Hammers.
to be fair, I was gripping the 2 deep freeze.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Fair enough. The Frost Hammers or 2 Deep Freeze?
2 deep freeze. I was gripping 2 deep
And then
freeze.
you drew 2 Frost Hammers?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that's
That
the
was
dream,
luck.
right? In
That
your
was
70 card deck?
Yeah, that was luck for sure.
Yeah.
So, I feel like you overcommitted a little bit last turn, trying to go in on me.
Well, there really wasn't a over committing to go in against you because I played 1 attack, I checked a 3, I tapped 2, I believe,
Yeah.
to pass the check, and then the rest of my staging area, you're just like, by the
It's
way,
just
turn it
Sophitia.
sideways.
Yeah. I mean, like, you know,
And so I had to
think
take
your
advantage of
adjustment in
that.
the second game where you just didn't build past 4,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's a good way to not get destroyed by
Sophitia.
Frost Hammer.
Yeah.
There was at Nats, there was a Stoneman who did that, who just built 4 foundations.
Yeah.
And I couldn't kill him unless I had 8 momentum.
That makes sense.
With the like the first game, I think I killed him because we just built.
Yeah.
And then I dropped a
Yeah, this is me
sand
going
grenade
in
for a
the second.
billion. But
Yeah.
that's one way to not die to Frost Hammers. Just build enough to make your first check, right? And just keep tossing it.
But yeah,
I do
took
feel
advantage
I
here.
do feel strongly that Killick might be just the bane of Frosthammer as a card
Right.
What does
because
Killick do?
it's just it's the
never
fact,
has any
yeah, it's just
foundations.
Killick keeps himself at 3.
Yeah.
He's at 3 foundations, and his own character effects consistently make it so that he just continues to pass things. As a direct result, the most you're ever going to get out of it
Yeah.
is the
3 damage.
is the 3.
The other side of that coin is that's why you run ice slides, right?
Yeah.
icy slides. Icy slides are important in those sorts of situations where it's gonna be 1 low
Yeah.
for
A billion damage.
8 or whatever. So even if there's 3 foundations, you still get 8 damage on the
Oh yeah,
on the Frost Hammer.
So, yeah, it's
Just because it's
second
not one shotting.
yeah, that's the lethal Frosthammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
11 plus 11 equals 22. as it
Yep.
turns out. Yeah. Or sorry, 7 plus 11 plus 11 is exactly 29.
Yep.
Exactly equal Parcy. You did
Exact
it.
math.
Exactly.
I did
I'm
something
sure you
right.
did it all in your head.
Yep.
You're like,
Quick
wow,
maths.
these numbers equal.
Actually, I did.
Yeah?
Actually,
I'm
I did.
real proud of you, dude.
I'm learning how to think.
Genuinely, with the sheer number of 6 checks that I had in the deck,
Yeah.
and playing the +1 high block, I was like, I feasibly could
could
check
happen.
a 6 and
Yeah.
tap Nightmare and pass it.
Yeah.
But as always, the curse of UFS Orange will just float up to the top of the deck.
Well,
for
unless
you.
you're playing against me, of course.
Well, yeah, of course. Then I
know,
just
then
check hard
you
6s all the
check
time.
sixes.
In
Got
the,
'em.
in the second game, I don't know I think I might have just gotten like complacent and not.
I think the second
Getting
game.
too big for your britches.
I think the second game was really more of a. You started building, and then the real problem was that what you were seeing to go on the offense wasn't enough to actually outright kill me.
It wasn't deep freeze into 2 frost hammers.
Yeah.
It was lightning into a single frost hammer.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is enough to chunk me for sure. But
I
Well,
don't
you
wanna
do
chunk.
this thing sometimes, Parcy, where you like, I build 1 and pass on my second turn.
That's all I have. That's literally all I
and then
have.
you go in, right? Like you go aggressively so that you can draw on the next turn, right? And build your non-blocks.
But remember, I love blocking a lot, so I
Right.
grip the attacks.
But it's
and I was
Nightmare.
Like, well, I'm prepared.
Nightmare is blank if you don't block. Right? Like his enhanced does nothing if you don't
there was
block.
that face up novitiate.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Because I'm an idiot and leave my face down foundations face down.
Hell yes.
Then pick up my staging area, flip it over, and put it on top of my deck again.
But yeah, I felt character-wise going into this matchup was fairly even. There was no. I personally don't think there was a clear advantage either way.
The real problem is that Nightmare as a character wants you to block his attacks.
Yeah, and Sophitia wants.
And
to-
Sophitia wants to block. So
Yeah.
it's two characters creating a situation where it's like, hey, here's the thing.
There's
you are
gonna
going to
be
do
some
your
give.
thing.
I'm gonna do
I
mine.
want you to do my thing.
Yeah, I think because of the throws in Ryan's deck, you were always gonna have a little bit like you're gonna be committing him out, right? But eventually you're gonna die. Like I think you're the one on a timer there,
Yeah. for
right?
sure.
Ryan could honestly just build to the moon,
A successful 5 build.
you know,
Honestly, what also gimped me, I
if he
feel,
was confident that he could kill you on it. You know, if you built a 5-string attack, you know, you're just gonna
I'm
die.
dead, yeah.
But
also in the first game, I don't think he saw Soul Edge. So
Oh no, I had Soul
he
Edge
did.
during the
Yeah,
first game.
he did.
Yeah.
It just
just the
destroying
only-
the guilty or the Ivy throw, right?
Yeah, so I couldn't respond with the Soul Edge. That was the exact moment that I realized it said non-throw.
Yeah.
Teach me to read my cards.
yeah.
I
So-
still won't, out of principle, but
The bone there was the Artifice Avarice.
Yeah, Paris, I think we should proxy in some of the Sophitia Foundation's
sure.
attacks.
Yeah.
Like her one attack that is basically just deep freeze and frost hammer on a single card.
yeah.
On a stick.
That's pretty good. And sure you are, right?
Look at
It's a
this.
6
Look at these
Yeah.
bones.
But I mean 1 6 diff is better than 2 5s,
Yeah,
right?
it is a 6 diff,
Yeah.
but more importantly, it's a 6 diff plus 1 mid block, 6 mid 6 that checks a 3.
Right.
Like,
That's pretty,
Yeah.
That's pretty thick.
Okay, so this is the I didn't hear the joke, John Henry.
I don't want anybody to hear the joke.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is.
this is in fact.
Was
the
it as good
continuation.
as Ivy stacks her deck because she's stacked?
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was a good one. I
I
like
was-
Also,
I was-
what-
There
I
comes
proud of that
the
one.
tester mite, the first one.
That was awful.
Slap that onto the board.
I don't appreciate that at all.
Oh, we seem to have jumped.
This is game
No, this is game 2.
2. So
Okay.
yeah, this is the poor.
This is
Oh,
this
you're
is
right,
the
you're right, you're right.
Foundations.
Okay.
Yeah.
My staging area is still at 6 foundations there. So
Yeah. I mean, I like test your might in any deck that makes a card
Giant.
huge. That's pretty good.
Nightmare just intrinsically does it. He's
That's what
already
real feels
mostly
bad. I
there.
really needed to see the radical legward to mess up his soul edge, but
I didn't even have it that game.
yeah, you did.
Nope.
You had it all through. Oh, no,
Nope.
you didn't. Yeah. Wow.
Get booty blasted.
I didn't see Soul Edge during the second game. I think it was during the third game I saw it.
That was bad. It's fine.
Did you know that the
Or are you
first-
fully blocking the throw?
That's the only block that I had.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah.
It's not like it matters. I didn't.
No, I
have
know.
anything,
That's what I was
yeah.
saying. Like you could save the zone or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Like if I were me, I'd be
That's-
holding the
from-
high blocks
from
for the
hell.
from hell.
See,
yeah.
the thing is, the way I have the Nightmare deck built, it's actually playing off of that mentality.
See, the way my deck is set up.
Because no, truly, because
See, I got a
the
seconds
end
and a save.
the end game of the deck is here's these cards. Are you okay with like they're all high throws, the Demon Grab and the Ivy Throw.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you okay with just wasting your high blocks on them?
Right.
If you're wasting your high blocks on them, here comes the From Hell. Do
Right,
you
but
still
they're
have it?
throws, right?
Yeah, they're throws. So are you okay with using the mid blocks? Are you okay with using the mid blocks? Okay, here's the Dark Reconquista. You have to mid block.
Right.
And then if I see you block the first one with a mid block, and you block the Reconquista, I pick it up with Nightmare. I play it again for another 18 damage.
Right.
Do you have another mid block?
Right.
The Nightmare game so far, from my experiences with the deck, are a whole lot of like testing the waters to see what's in your opponent's hand and playing off of that.
And you
Yeah.
can do it for free because you can just pick it up.
Yeah.
Well, once per turn.
But it still doesn't change the fact that if you go into a turn where your opponent has 3 mid blocks in the grip, then That's all it is. They just have the 3 mid blocks on grip. But these days, a lot of more people are going to be like, I better have a high block or a low block, just in case. Because if I grip high blocks and mids, the Nightmare deck will play Takedown. Because if anybody is playing Nightmare and isn't playing Takedown, they have a mental defect.
Whoa.
Cannon.
I like Takedown and Taki.
Takedown and Taki is also really cool.
Takedown and Taki is shit.
Is this where I
Shut
get,
up, John Henry.
Is this where I get booty blast? Oh no, not yet.
Listen. Listen, buddy.
This is the moment where you in fact get booty blasted.
I get my Baja.
Oh,
and
is this
This is the end of
Every
the
time I see
second
Wrecking
game.
Beast, I just think of G-Reco.
Same.
Yeah. It's
when
just-
Ryan
I don't even know
Baja
why that's the
blasts
name
that ass.
We're no
No,
bad
no,
guys.
no,
They're
no,
on the
no,
moon.
Wanna
They're
get a
not really
Baja
bad
blast.
guys.
No one was a bad guy. That was the fucking problem.
Yeah,
Everybody's
I'm
still
not a
dead,
whole
so-
The
lot.
best stuff. I didn't watch the end.
I'm
So
not
I mean,
sure.
it's Tamino.
fucking
Other
red-headed
than
Gundam
RNG,
dies.
what I could have done in that second game. to
Character
turn it
in
around.
Gundam
Yeah.
dies
Yeah.
every
I just,
time.
It's
I
just
didn't,
every
I didn't have the
character.
foundations to go in.
Oh god, that one meme. Did
Yeah,
come out of it,
when it hit like turn
The one where it's the
2,
blue
I think
dude,
turn
it's
2 or
like,
turn
I am a
3,
genius, then it
and
gets
you were
into
still stuck at like 4 foundations, and I was already at like 9.
Yeah.
That's when I kind of knew that you weren't going to build enough to stop me from doing what I was doing.
Sucked. But
I mean, you were still committing out the majority of my staging area. Like right there, off of the 1 attack so far, you've already committed 4 of my foundations.
Is Fuse there for the 1 low
Yeah.
and 6 check?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
Fuse by Lilith.
Oh no, actually,
Really?
yeah.
I mean, like, I've tested that card in a few different decks, and the E commit is almost never relevant to me.
Would you believe me if I gave you the Ryan special for just a brief moment?
Okay.
I put it in there because of myself,
Wait, why?
Wait, hold on.
because of my Killick deck.
Uh-huh.
The way I look at Killick right now, and this is getting off topic of this particular game, but the way I'm looking at Killick right now, Killick is running Air Ground Smash in water,
Oh, there
and
are an
he's
awful lot of
running
printed 6
Let's
speeds.
Party off of
Right,
water,
right.
and either of those are going to be his lead-in attack for the most part.
Oh, dude.
And if you do either of those,
I just had an
he
idea.
can't make his next attack easier for
So
himself.
you use, on the good symbol, you get Siegfried's respond to get the first enhance.
Yeah.
Then fuse with
Yeah.
oh no!
Yep.
on somebody's air ground smash. Mm-hmm. That's a
Nope.
a flip and a commit to do high seas adventure, right?
Just immediately response. No, please.
Please.
Yeah,
That's something
see,
that's
right
gonna
here,
go
how to use the frost hammer.
in the
That's
hurt
in the
locker.
vault.
Yeah,
How to use
that's
the
in the
frost
vault.
hammer.
Yeah, you had to use the frost
Defensively.
hammer for the block.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
sucked.
that's true. Ghost Thief is also a 6-speed mid. Ivy's attack
Ivy's
is a 6-speed mid.
well, Ivy's is a 7-speed.
7-speed, yeah, 7-speed.
Because
six,
you know
yeah.
that's necessary.
I thought it was a 6-speed for 7, or is it 6
It might
speed for 7?
it might be 6-speed for 7.
It's one of
I
those
think
two.
it's, yeah,
Either way, it's hit, but that's true.
If
Okay,
I-
the value of that card went up
Yeah.
a little bit in my head. It's a 1 low. So that's,
yeah, it's a
yeah.
+1 low block,
With a
which is
6
already good
check,
enough, and it
pretty
checks a
good.
6.
I think if I had a high block here and I would be able to save the frost hammer, I would have been able to do some damage, but RNG did not like me.
See, another example of a game where I drew Crimson Vortex, and I didn't have the momentum on hand to pull it off.
Right.
Like, if I had... I honestly should be putting Fatality in here, just so I have the snap momentum available to me. But I feel like that would... It almost feels like that would slow down my game more than anything. Because I'd be snapping the momentum to pitch the momentum to pick up an action
Yeah,
card
I
from my
think,
discard
I think
pile.
you just don't pick up the throws.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just, the throws are going to become momentum.
Yeah.
Or you grab their throw hate, and go on with your day.
Or I could just make the decision on the fly. Like, you throw down the throw. If you don't have any other attacks and they block it, then you pick it back up and play it again. Who cares?
Right.
You know? I have to get myself out of that nightmare mindset of, like, they blocked it, pick it up now! And then, of course, as is true of all characters in this Soul Calibur set, hand cannon is the bane of pretty much all of their existences.
Right.
So
Hand cannon and Showoken
yeah.
are going to be very
Yeah.
relevant. Showoken
Now-
especially, because
Yeah.
Showoken gets around. Taki can't
Yeah.
respond at all.
I don't
Yeah.
think
How do you get around hand
hand
cannon? What is
cannon
hand
won't affect Sophitia much. She doesn't care.
No, it doesn't affect Sophitia.
No, but it does affect. It does
But
affect
it
Nightmare.
affects Nightmare. It affects Killick. It affects Taki. Well, not hand cannon, but Showoken. But all the cards in that environment.
John Henry, hand cannon and Showoken prevent. Hand cannon is a static that while it's in a card pool, your opponent can't remove cards from their card pool
Or discard pile.
Right. Showoken is the same thing, but it's a respond when you play it. So you can play it as a block and it responds. Right.
Yeah.
Shogun's way more punishing though, because if you can flip or get rid of hand cannon,
Yeah.
right? But Shogun's it's an ability that's played, so
Yeah.
even if it goes away, it's stuck
It's
there,
stuck
right?
there.
Which is the worst thing for me because Cassie Cage is just gonna play Shoguns now, right? Like there's no.
Yeah, Cassie Cage again.
Yeah. Oh no, Cassie Cage is always gonna be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I think she's clear number one.
That's
was
you heard it
number
here,
one.
folks.
I think she is. I mean,
Make sure you go
hand
down in
cannon
the
also
comments and
gimps
write.
grow.
True. Oh yeah, you
Because
can.
you can't
multiple.
multiple.
You can't multiple.
Cannot multiple.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the lightning. Or
And
the
even
deep freeze into
though
the lightning.
it's really kind of a weird way to put it, it makes it so Zhang Hua can't use her ultimate on your opponent's turn.
That's true. Yeah.
Or you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you are. You can't use the multiple again.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think I made a case for sublimating blade. Okay.
Oh no, absolutely.
Space salvos
Yeah.
into that card is pretty gross.
Oh yeah. That's got to be the best answer I've ever seen to just my opponent didn't block
They're
my
not
attacks
blocking,
with
yeah.
Taki.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
sublimating blade.
Just do it just because you can.
Yeah. And they leave too.
Yeah.
It's part of the discard for it. So you can go at the end. You can ace maneuver at the end of it.
Yep.
When they finally block, and it's like 5 cards left, 10 damage on this ace maneuver. Pretty sick.
Is this still game 2?
This is still game
Yeah,
2.
it's
This is, this is, I believe, the
This is
final
the death
turn.
turn. Yeah. I was like, how am I alive for this one? There's no way.
Because the last turn was when you dropped the
Deep freeze.
the lightning into Frosthammer, and I just took it on the chin because what is blocking?
Did it or
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
You're a beefy boy.
Just took it on the chin.
I don't know what I could have done differently this game. Maybe I should have milled my first hand to build like 4.
You probably could have. I mean, I still think didn't you build like 3
I
during your
built 3
first
turn 1 and
Yeah,
then
that,
Yeah, and then you built one and kept your
Yeah,
hand.
yeah.
Like that was the thing I was talking about.
I think you were seriously good because of that.
I think it was mostly the fact that I think his hand was the frost hammers.
Right.
He had I think he
Yeah,
had 2
they're-
frost hammers in hand.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you blocked with 2 of them on my turn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You can't RFG 2 Frost Hammers. I
Yeah.
mean, but you can review one on the second on that.
Yeah.
Because you were going second, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could review one. You can. It's.
I was
it's-
being a little greedy, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have 2 Frost Hammers and another attack, that's fine. You can get rid of the other attack.
Greedy, just cheeky.
It's hindsight 2020, right? Like
Yeah.
I can't say that I wouldn't
Yeah.
have done that in this situation.
And this is the cycling that occurred from Soul Edge, and then the remaining Soul Edge burn that killed you.
my favorite.
That's
my
so
favorite.
troll.
Yeah.
My favorite terrible opening hand story is Keenan Meadows drawing 4 Coffee Samba on turn 1,
Wow.
right? And saying, well, I can't RFG this hand, plays a Coffee Samba to 5, draws 2, builds 3.
Yeah. What a legend.
And I think it was the last round of Swiss or something like that. At a.
Oh, the battery's running.
That's okay, I can plug it in.
Everything is.
It is plugged in.
Yeah, this
What in
is
the
die
heck?
to exact math burn damage.
Yep.
Next
That's
level.
true, and you had the brutality in hand.
Next level.
Is this not?
It doesn't seem to be.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well,
Well, check the
all right. No, we can go to the next one. It'll be enough to go to record it at least.
What in the hell?
Are you actually plugged into something? It
Yo.
might just be the plug.
Yo, Ryan, where do you get your sleeves, bro? Because that shuffle is just it puts me in a trance. Because everything slides
Oh
so
yeah.
nice.
The slick sleeve slide.
So Dragon Shield released a new set, new kinds of sleeves that are the clear sleeves, but still the matte ones. Which I've always loved the matte sleeves because you don't have to worry about like the fucking 54 card pickup that happens when you try to shuffle your deck. What I liked about them was that you still see the back of your cards, so you can still see all the UFS cards. There's no obfuscation about what's in there, nothing like that. And simultaneously, they still look really cool.
Yo,
no, like
do you
you're
think
talking
I
about-
could play Blue Eyes White Dragon as a 7 diff?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Even I got taken.
Yeah. What are you talking about on that one?
I don't know.
Play
I
the
just
blue
wanna
eyes
say-
from your hand. or-
Yeah.
I just want to say that, like, even with, because I think
30
Romney's
damage,
Dragon Shield sleeves
25
are-
speed for 30.
What the fuck does that mean?
You reveal the 2 arms, the 2 legs of Exodia, and Krieger de Bergen, and you're like, I win! Exodia!
No, you play that in Heidi. What are you talking about?
That's when you hit him with
Actually,
the license.
Yugi Moto. Oh, monkey.
I hate all of them.
Don't look
Yeah.
at me. There, he started it.
It's true, he did.
There's an Exodia deck in the game though.
This
Yeah, but it's not
game.
literally exact.
Now see,
This game was
basically
truly
exact.
even.
But is it?
see,
like,
I
does
was
it have the
truly,
card art?
I was thinking about building Sophie.
No,
off
it
of Earth.
doesn't, John Henry.
Then it's not
And
literally Exodia.
Semantic.
I didn't want to do Frost
very
Hammer
important.
Deep Freeze because I've done that before. I've done it in Johnny Cage,
Right, yeah.
and that was fun, but it wasn't really my cup of tea. What I actually think I want to do for Sophie is use her UR that we've already talked about, and then just running Mimic,
yeah, we talked
and
about
just
that
being
too.
like, all right, here's a 6 mid 6 that gets +1 damage for each of your committed foundations, and here's a 5 mid for 5 that gets +1 damage for all of your committed foundations.
Yeah, you just give it +2.
Yeah, you just everything gets +2 speed because you're Sophie. Who cares? And more importantly, and it's the thing that I've been pushing kind
Mimic
of
checks
since.
as 2, right?
Yeah, Mimic would be your 2 check, which is brutal. But at the same time, you're playing Earth. Earth has a lot of really reliable low difficulty foundations. So if you want to, you can just be like, here's a 1 diff, here's a 1 diff, here's a 1 diff, here's 2 dreaming of becoming whole.
Yeah, I think I
You-
might want
you
to
can-
switch
you
to
can get
Earth
there.
and Sophie. Try
Um,
that out.
You stay away from that. That's mine.
All right, what's your other symbol? Earth, order,
Life.
life.
She has life.
Life is kind of lackluster for her. I mean,
I
it's
like-
still a life. It's still life, and life is always going to be a strong symbol.
I like
for
all
the
her
time being.
stuff in life decks.
Oh, yeah.
Her stuff in Spike is
Oh yeah.
Insane.
sounds great.
As far as cards from Sophie's kit that you should be running in your deck on the order build, I would strongly recommend the 1/5. She has a 1/5 foundation ordered by Hephaestus, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's a +2 mid block, and the static trait on it, it's got an effect. I forget what it is. I apologize in advance. It is a 1/5 with a +2 mid block that says if you block a throw with this card, the throw only deals 1 damage.
So it's like a $500 sunglass.
Yeah, it's like $500 sunglasses.
It's a 2 mid block.
Yeah, but it's a +2. It's a +2 mid block, and it actually has an effect. I think it gains you 2 vitality.
Is that
It's like the E on is like E flip gain 2 vitality.
Let me bring it up.
Blessed by Hephaestus or ordered by Hephaestus, something like that.
That's pretty sick.
And then of course, if you can get your, I mean, I think the assets are all common and uncommon, or rare. I think they might be rare.
I want her,
The
I
actions
want
are
her
common
action.
and uncommon.
Yeah, I want her action.
Some of the actions you are. They're spread apart.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Her asset, even though it's a unique asset, I'm gonna run 3 of it, just flat.
Wow.
It's $500 sunglasses, but a +1 mid block on a 1/6 asset.
On a stick. Ooh, 1/6. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
a
I like
one.
6
It's a
checks.
1/6.
Oh yeah, from your staging area.
Yeah,
I like
that you can block with it from your staging area.
Her
it's-
1/5 is tasked by Hephaestus. E
Yeah.
flip if this attack speed or damage is less than printed. Gain 2.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's alright.
Give my deck
it's
-2
relevant.
speed. I hate with this.
We're going to be seeing throws come back into this environment in a big way, more so than we have so far. Only because of guys like Nightmare. We're going to see Earth throw decks kind of come.
Ivy's gonna
think that's a little bit ironic.
Yeah,
considering
Ivy Life Throws is going to be in there. Definitely something to keep your
Ivy's
eyes
gonna
out
be
for.
disgusting.
Were weapons any?
She's
like,
gonna be lame. She's gonna be boring.
She's gonna be boring, but
consistent.
she's gonna be meta.
Yeah, no, you're legitimately right here, JHB. It's gonna be Ivy is consistent, the same way Grow is consistent.
Annoyingly
The
so.
problem is that when you play them, you are going to bore yourself to tears because they are consistent.
If you're,
Are you
I
gonna
mean, but if
cry
you're
on
a
the
player
top?
who like thrives on that sort of
That's
play,
the
like,
question.
yeah, I mean, Ivy always making the check she wants
Yeah.
to make. Is
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a U deck right there. I could see it.
I mean, the Takeda thing is that same sort of situation
Yeah.
where I wanna check the 6, right?
Quillenberger's fun.
I wanna check this thing, right?
Also-
The only thing she was missing was something that stacks her discard pile.
Yeah.
But you can't have it all, you know.
Yeah,
You
true.
can't have it all. Can't have it all.
can never be fully stacked.
And then on top of that, after watching it in action during one game,
Yeah.
Ivy's weapon is not getting enough credit in my opinion.
Her UR or
Yeah, well, the asset.
the asset.
Yeah.
Man,
Because
it seems kind of it's like hit or miss to me.
It is kind of hit or miss, but
In
you
her,
also
it's great.
You also the real thing about it is there is one thing about all weapons and evil weapons
Yeah.
that have one major shortcoming, and it's in both of those symbols.
Speed.
Evil and all have no speed bonuses. They don't exist for those symbols.
Right.
Ivy is the first character we have seen on either of those symbols that gives pretty significant speed and damage bonuses
Right.
Well,
to either of those like either of those cards.
You could also add Morgan to help him with the evil speed.
But
that's your dumb.
Okay,
Morgan
off
up
evil,
with
yeah,
the
you could run
weapon.
the Morgan stuff. That's true. I don't think any of her stuff is ranged though.
No.
It's just you have the
But
weapons,
Ivy's
weapons.
only looking for ranged or weapon.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about both.
Well, in other decks, I don't see it being useful because losing 2 speed every time you want to attack, or at least on the relevant ones, it's prohibitive, right?
Yeah.
Taki's Foundation also does a similar thing, right?
Yeah.
The only person I see using that card is Ivy off of Evil.
Yeah.
You know, it's only because she gains the 2 life back.
Yeah, she consistently gains the 2 life back.
Continue getting it
Yeah.
back, and like combined with the Taki Foundation, I'll lose 2 to give it 4 speed.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
But 2 for 2 speed every time in another deck, not as great to me. Yeah, it is funny that the least compelling thing to me in the Ivy stuff is all with Gil stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my first thought. You can just sideboard into Gil when you need speed, and sideboard into Ivy when you can.
Honestly,
But it's
honestly, at the very least, I was looking at Cryokinetic Assassination.
Yeah.
Because
that's
that
a great
you
card.
play Cryokinetic Assassination, you're just like, well, you're either going to let it do damage, in which case I'll draw a card and gain 2 vitality,
Right.
or you're gonna block it, in which case I'll draw a card and
yeah.
gain 2 vitality.
Right.
These are your choices.
Dun dun.
Pretty okay.
Yep.
Ivy's sword is named Ivy Blade.
Yes.
That's so true.
That's really blame.
She had some other ones in 4 at least, or 3.
Well, everything except for like.
So yeah, I think I need to.
No,
switch
you
out
get
some
multiple
of those
weapons for
attacks
every
for the Ivy or not the Ivy.
All right. In
Sophitia.
fairness, even though Ivy Blade sounds a little silly, at least it's not the elk shield.
At least it's not Ivy Blade. It
Elk
sounds
shield.
silly. It's not
made
that it
of an
sounds
elk.
silly. It's that it's really banal. An elk shield is fly as fuck.
You're banal.
You ever seen an Irish elk? There's a reason they're extinct. They were too badass.
That's actually what it's called.
They're pretty thick.
No, an
Omega sword, though.
Omega sword
Okay,
and
yeah.
elk shield.
The balance is
Yeah,
skewed
yeah,
heavily
yeah.
in Omega sword's favor. Omega sword, and
Omega
elk
sword.
shield.
It ain't alpha.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, it's the end.
Yeah.
Like your game is about to end.
Yeah.
Feels
Here,
bad.
here's the incoming frost hammer that gets +4 damage.
Yeah.
Right, because Ryan learned and didn't build 6.
No.
No, that wasn't the reason. I just actually didn't see that many foundations.
Fair enough. Yeah, I picked your hand. You're right.
Probably I am not smart enough to be like, if I just stop building.
This just coincidentally happened.
Well, I just figured, you just drop the 8 damage attack with 10 damage, right? It has to be fully blocked, or you grab it to your hand and do it again, right? So just deal 8, right?
I hate to say it, but I think this is match 2 again.
No, this is 3.
This is 3.
This is 3 because I played
Radical Edward.
I played Radical Edward, and then you had the.
That's all. That's right.
This is the second time.
I'm sorry. It's
Radical
just,
Edward.
it's just seeing the lightning,
yeah,
the
you-
lightning into
this is-
the lightning into frost.
That was
hammer
that
again.
was where you flipped face of the monster instead of Outworld's
instead of
areas,
Outworld,
right?
and you just popped it
Which
right back
that
on.
was the only huge misplay I saw you take.
That's right. It's
Yeah.
pretty bad. I need to go back to UFS school.
Yeah, I definitely think if you're gonna play Order, right, and you haven't already added in 2 Hacker Extraordinaires and upped your Radical Edward count to 2 or 3, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because assets are just
Huge this turn around.
yeah they're every character has one.
Yeah.
Every character has one, and almost every character wants to play their asset.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's super beneficial.
There's very few that are. I mean, Zasamel's asset is crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. I think the only ones that aren't like insane or I think Yoshimitsu's is okay.
Yeah.
Mitsurugi's is probably bad because I don't remember what it does.
Probably bad.
What does it do? Let me see it.
You heard it
What
here,
does this
folks.
asset do? Breaker 1, unique foundation. It has a 0 mid block. That's pretty good. E, destroy 1 foundation. Your stun weapon takes +2 damage. Play a wall committed. Okay.
Yeah.
And then R commit after your attack is blocked. Add 1 stun weapon attack for your card pool
That's
to your
that
staging
stun-
area.
that's that
Oh,
stun
he does the
and
staging
weapon.
area shenanigans. He has the good symbol. You can White House.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
the
the
good symbol? Who
that's
we
the
talking about?
18 damage Reconquista
Wait, Mitsurugi's
and the
got
2
the good
Tester
symbol?
mites for good measure because
Mitsurugi
Right, you
has
checked it. You did
Yeah.
check it.
Yeah.
And then
good
draw 6.
fire.
Yep.
And
Mitsurugi has what? Good fire and
good fire void. Yeah.
Void.
Yeah, void because his character makes you discard something, and also he makes ailerophobia low. Right? That's what that card actually says. This
Yeah.
is actually only a fire character,
Yeah.
and ailerophobia is
Ailerophobia
now
is
low
low.
for your life total.
yeah, 1 billion damage
Block
on
with
turn
cooler
2.
focus or die, right?
yeah. So,
good and void are just odd symbols to give.
At this point,
to
me and Parcy were just shooting the shit about theoreticals.
Yeah, he was flexing, hard flexing.
I was hard flexing the
Yeah,
two
Parcy had
Testermites.
already shown him he had no blocks in hand.
I think at this point I'm at negative 4 HP.
I think I quote you. You said do 12 damage, and Ryan was like, "Oh,
Can you count to 12?
it's already at 18."
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Like,
already
well-
at 18.
Also, here's 2 Testermites and another Reconquista.
This is important.
Yeah, God bless.
Oh yeah, this is when he tells me to mill 30.
No.
And it's like, well, it's done.
Yeah, good game, fellas.